Okay, guys, welcome to part 2. This is Miss Peck. I am showing you how to construct a triangle. So, there are 4 steps to how to construct a triangle. We've just had practice constructing the angles. We talked about how triangle needs 3 angles to be constructed. So, our first step for this is going to be using a protractor to make our primary angle. So this just means using a protractor to make our first angle, the very first angle of your triangle. So we're using the protractor. Make sure that you've already written that or printed one off or you have one at home. If you do not have this done, you will need that for this part of the lesson as well. So make sure you have one. If it's just one drawn on a separate sheet of paper, that is fine. So using a protractor to draw the primary angle. Step 2 is Step 2 is to measure. So for step 2, we're measuring the line segment. So when we measure the line segment, there are going to be times when they give you an angle, and this angle also has to be, the legs of it have to be a certain length. So this will not be all the time. You will have problems where they just give you the angle and want you to draw it, but they may also give you a time when they want you to draw the line segment or one of the lines of a triangle, right? There's 3 lines, a certain length. And so you must do that if it's necessary. If not, then you will ignore step 2. Step 3 is to draw the second arm or angle of the triangle. So we draw the second angle at the end. So we've already drawn at this point our first primary angle, and we're drawing the second angle at the end of that one. So we're attaching the second angle onto it. So I'm going to show you here. I've already have my protractor, so I would draw my second angle. So I've already drawn my first line. If the line segment is supposed to be a certain length, I would have to change that to make it that length. And then we draw our second one. So to draw your second one, your first one you would draw from this side, and you can draw your second one from the opposite side. So you see there's numbers on both sides, top and bottom of the protractor, that go the opposite direction. So then step 4 is to check. So we should always check to make sure our angles are the correct degree and that our line segments are the correct length. So check all angles to make sure the degree is correct and measure all of those line segments. So this means that we would use our protractor just to go through each angle and double check that they are the correct degree. And we can do this by first making sure that our degrees equal 180 degrees total when added together. So let's get some practice with this. So we're going to just construct a triangle that uses the degrees 50 degrees, 40 degrees, and 90 degrees. So 50 degrees is one of our angles of this triangle, 40 degrees is the second, and 90 degrees is the third. And with these 3 angles, we know this is a triangle. It makes a triangle because 50 degrees and 40 degrees added together is 90 degrees, and 90 degrees plus 90 degrees is 180 degrees. So all those angles add up to give you 180 degrees. So we're going to go over to our protractor. You should have your protractor out. And with this one, our line segments do not have to be a certain length. So we can just go with our line we've already drawn from 0 to the center of our protractor. And I'm going to draw the 90-degree angle first because we know a 90-degree angle should be a straight line and it's perpendicular to the other line. So it makes a square in the center where my little angle mark is. So we're going to draw that. Messed up there. And we are going to draw our little square in the corner, signifying that it is a 90-degree angle or a right angle. So we've drawn our first line, and then we are going to draw our next line. So we're going to go to the opposite side, and we are going to count to where we need to go. So originally we counted this way on the top part up to 90, and then we drew our line down. But for our second line for this angle is we are going to go the opposite way. So we're going to go from 0 up to 50 degrees and draw that line down to meet our other line. So the very end point of that line. This was step 3. So we had to skip step 2 because we did not have line segments that have to be certain lengths. But step 3 is to make your second angle or the next angle by connecting it to the end point of the first one. So we did that by drawing from 50 degrees to 0. And so now we know that this angle here is 50 degrees and this angle here is 40, and that makes our triangle. These extra lines you would erase if you have them on your paper. And we will now move on to our second problem. So our second problem is going to include specific line segments. So these line segments of this triangle are 5 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 3 centimeters. So we're constructing a triangle with side lengths of 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 5 centimeters. So I'm using a ruler right now, and I just drew a line that is 3 centimeters long. And again, if you don't have a ruler or a tape measure or anything in your house, you can always use one from online that has been copied. So I drew a 3 centimeter line here, a 4 centimeter line here, and I double checked and made sure that this line here was 5 centimeters. So I went through with my ruler and made sure that all of my line segment lengths are correct, because that is step number 4 of constructing a triangle. So I went through, did step 1, 2 is not needed, and then I did 3 and 4. So we are now moving on to what observations we can make. So when we are comparing these two triangles here that we just drew, you have them on your paper. We wrote them on a protractor. But what observation can we make between the two of those angles and triangles? So we know that they both meet the criteria. So our question number 1, they met that there was a 90-degree angle, a 50-degree angle, and a 40-degree angle. The second one, we know that it met the criteria because we double-checked and we made sure that it was 3 centimeters for one line segment, 4 centimeters for another, and 5 for the third. And then the other observation we can make is that even though these triangles met the criteria, these triangles look different from one another. So we're going to talk about what that means. So when constructing a triangle, the description can be that it is a unique triangle. So a unique triangle was formed from what we made. A more than one triangle, or no triangle. So we're going to go deeper into what each of those means in the next one. But a unique triangle means that there is only one of them. More than one triangle obviously means that there is more than one way of making that triangle. And then our last one is no triangle, which means that no triangle can be made based on the question. So I'm going to give you a minute to write this down, and then we will go more into detail and answer a couple questions concerning this. So if you need more time, I would pause the screen because we are moving on to the next part. So when two triangles are similar, they have corresponding angles. So they have angles that are corresponding. And we talked about corresponding parts of shapes before when we did scale factor. But this time we are talking specifically about the corresponding angles and eventually corresponding line segments or segments of these triangles. So corresponding is important here. It's important to know that corresponding means that they are just similar or in relation to one another. Sorry for my word vomit there. So we're going to get some practice with this. So we're going to identify the similar angles between these two triangles that I will put up in just a minute. So make sure you have this written down. And we are going to compare a couple, or really all of the angles within this triangle. So we have angle ABC. We are going to see what angle is similar to that one, which we know already that it is going to be angle DEF. So we're going to look at these two angles and discuss them. But this little symbol between these two angles that I've written here, it's an equal sign with kind of a little squiggly on top. This means that they are similar. So angle ABC and angle DEF are similar to each other. So we're going to be using that symbol a lot. And so you need to know that that's what that symbol means. It shows equal and similar to. So we are going to write the rest of them. So the other angles that we are going to find are these angles. So angle CBD, what angle is similar to angle CBD? What angle is similar to angle BAC? And what angle is similar to angle BCA? So we are going to work on that. I'm going to bring up the two triangles. You should write these down. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to give you some time to write these two triangles down. And all you have to do is write them down. They do not have to be super accurate to what degree the angles are, but make sure that they do look similar. And one should be labeled ABC and the other one DEF. So pause the video now if you need more time to do this. And so we are moving on. So we have angle ABC and angle DEF. So we're looking now at angle CBD. So we're going to go back to our photo and we're going to check what angle. Oh, it should be CBA because it's triangle ABC.